Oh, hello, I didn't see you there in this video without me turning to camera to look awkward because it's another commentary track because I'm working on a video about House of the Dragon and the script is longer than I thought it would be. So here's a little something to hold you over. I think we're just gonna get straight into it. I don't have much of an intro. If you're interested in the creative process, and honestly, this video is probably going to turn into a lot of just general thoughts about season 2 of Dungeons and Daddies because kind of the purpose of videos is leaving all your thoughts and feelings on X subject on the cutting room floor, and I more or less did with this OP. But we'll see what you can find. We'll see what you can learn. We'll see if you're interested in listening to me talk. And we're gonna start in 3, 2, now. All right, folks. I'm just gonna shoot straight with you guys for a sec. Okay, so yeah, the first thing I want to talk about with this video is it's interesting in terms of the history of my channel. If you're a longtime fan, and I somehow doubt you are, but if you are, you'll notice that this video is more like the Ice Climbers video than the more recent short form content I'm doing. Like right there, the little animated me, I don't know, caricature of myself. Oh, my headphone fell out. A little caricature of me that shows up in the corner, a la a shout out Mac McMuscles, shout out subjectively. And I stopped doing that almost immediately. The biggest inspiration for those were like B Mask and Sequelettes. Shout out Aaron Hansen. I'm, I'm shouting out people who are far more successful in the online space than I have yet to be. Whatever. So I stopped doing that almost immediately after the Ice Climbers video because it's hard and it takes a lot of effort. And if you're gonna do the little caricature of yourself in the corner, you can get away with having like 3 different emotes if they're high quality, big resolution. I didn't want to go for that, so I thought I'll do quality over quantity. I'll just have a bunch and that'll be my niche. And that takes a long time. And so oh, someone pointed out this in the comments that also why Taylor's talking here is because at this point in the campaign he had a curse where he had to say everything that he was thinking, and that great little detail. I have loved the comment section on this video. It's more than just people saying nice things about me specifically, but engaging with the ideas I put forward and pointing out their own takes and things I might have missed. Love it. Love to see it. It's why I do this. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, speaking of things taking too much time. So, fun fact about the little me's in the corner is when I originally did this. And if you're wondering why I went back to that style for this video and it's not like the more, I can't remember his name, Foldable Human. If you type that into YouTube, Folding Ideas, you'll find all of his videos. Dan Bilzerian? There we go. I found it. Why my videos look less like Dan Bilzerian for this one specifically? It's because what I'm covering, this OP animatic, I figured doing... We'll talk more about that when I talk about my feelings on season 2, because it's true, they can't play D&D, it's fine. But because I'm covering okay, no, we're not at the thing I want to talk about. God, I get so easily distracted, and it's only a pause for like a second, but while you're recording, seconds feels like forever. Okay, no, we are here. No, damn it, we're not there. I'm okay. Yeah, we're officially here. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this, but it'll be fine, I guess. I guess you'll just have to deal with some Dead Space, honest. But this one right here, that specific detail was not something I knew I wanted to bring up when I first made this video. More or less, all of this stuff when we get to the final vignette, like Normal's world going up in flames and Lincoln's world being stabilized by friendship and the dueling aspects of Scare's personality. Those were all things I knew I wanted to cover. Like the third time I watched Canonically Everywhere's video, and I was like, okay, I have things to say. And then in the process of going through frame by frame, that detail of the static in the title was not something I noticed until I literally went frame by frame breaking this thing down. And fun fact, I added Canonically Everywhere when I posted this video. Not my friend, so you win some, you lose some, but they were very happy They seemed to enjoy the video. They retweeted the link. They even went back and retweeted some of my art, which they didn't have to do. So thanks a million for that. But one of the things I pointed out I got correct was they thought that no one would notice that detail. But I did, because I went through your stuff frame by frame. Pseudo buddy, pal, friend of mine who is definitely watching, thanks for that. You don't have to watch this one. It's functionally useless. I'm so good at self-promotion. But anyways, here's a fun fact behind the curtain why this video took a long time. Because when I first was making the new little animated Mii's, the first one I did, and I am going to just pull up a picture of it right now. Look at that. It's terrible. It just had no visual clarity. It looked cheap. It felt cheap. But I was like, screw it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to rush it out. And then about halfway through the video, when I made the second one, I was like, oh, wait, no, I have a style I can use that isn't garbage. I can just make it read better. Love visual clarity.
Not like the other warlocks.
Okay, so that joke, we're going to give it, I swear I'm going to finish this anecdote, but that joke right there with Beth May saying not like the other warlocks, not in the script. That was an original joke that came about because my read for not like the other girls, I don't know, it felt really pandery. I don't know, pandery isn't the right word, like misogynist. It felt like I was being a dick in a way where I didn't need to, so I just didn't like it. And I was like, okay, what? I don't want to re-record anything because I'm a hack and a fraud. And I drew that thing where Freddie Wong says, "In a world forever changed." So I was like, well, I have this. I might as well use this asset. Silent Hill 2. Some of the reasons Silent Hill, those original games, are good is because the limitations of the system. The fog is the way it is, so you didn't see stuff load in. That's a fun fact. So anyways, when I was drawing all this stuff, I figured out a way that was good halfway through, so I had to go back and redraw everything I had drawn up to that point. And the biggest inspiration I had for how I wanted, oh God, I just can't speak. That's why I hope me saying where it finishes just works for you. But the biggest inspiration I had for how I wanted all of these Mii's in the corner, take a shot every time I say that, you'll enjoy the video a lot more. This is in the Mouth of Madness. I already pointed that out in the video. Now I'm just rambling. Anyways, the biggest inspiration was Monster Prom. Shout out Arthur something. I follow them on Twitter. He's a great artist. Monster Prom is a really fun game. I'm currently playing Road Trip a lot. And if there's one thing Monster Prom does successful, it has a clean, appealing art style. That's why they have 3 games now. So this bit, here's a fun fact about this stupid bit, is I had a friend go over the script for me, and at the end of this bit, I wrote in parentheses, "Is this a good bit? Should I keep it in? Does this waste time?" And they got back to me, "No, I thought it was funny." So that's where this dumb bit about my podcast is. And now I think this commentary track is going to become a little bit of my podcast, because I guess I'm just going to talk more about Dungeons and Daddies Season 2 and my overall feelings, because I'm kind of out of behind-the-scenes stuff. Here's the last one I'll give you, is most of the footage I got for that conspiracy video is from Immortal Techniques. It's a Rich Man's World. Check it out. Great song. So, oh yeah, all the fan art I got for this video. So what I had to do to get all of that was just go back to the Dungeons and Daddies Twitter and scroll through their retweets and be like, okay, I'm saying like Taylor sucks and he talks too much. What's good art for that? And so that was a fun process. Found a lot of really talented artists that way. Okay, so yeah, now we're going to talk about overall Season 2 of Dungeons and Daddies and my thoughts and feelings on that. And spoilers, I don't think it's as good as Season 1, which I made a whole video about why the opener... Okay, so that video, I don't want to come off as like mean-spirited and like, Season 2 Dungeons and Daddies sucks. It's not as good, and that's fine. And there are a lot of reasons as to why it's not as good, and I would like to explain them. That's like the purpose of a review, isn't it? So, I made that video under the assumption it will get better. They'll get there. I'll give them to like episode 17, because episode 17 of season 1 is like the Tower of Terror 3-parter, right? The Pyramid Lords of Chaos, the Lords of Chaos 3-parter, and when Henry Oak gives his speech to his boys about how power isn't a means to exert will over others, but it's the strength of character to open up and be vulnerable. I love this shot so much. But that speech, it gets me every time, and I got really emotional. I went, oh, this is more than just a fun show to kill time to. This is something that will reward my emotional investment in a way I have not. It's not clicked with me as hard in season 2. Okay, so fun fact about this, I do have another fun fact, is that while I was writing this video, this was the one bit where when I saw the shot composition, when I saw what everything was going on, I had to just tweet about it. I had to just make a tweet where it's like, the shot composition is perfect. It tells you everything you need to know. Visual clarity. Let's see, Dungeons and Daddies Season 2. So, I think Anthony Burch is doing some things that I would call bad DMing. I think there's some of it where it is subjective to my taste, and I would say some of it is objectively, I think this is what I would call bad DMing. Because for my money, I think if you as a DM are more excited about the lore you made and your NPCs and your big exposition episode, if you're more excited about all of that and that's your focus as opposed to what the PCs have brought you to the table, congratulations, you've done a bad job. Shout out to Persephone Valentine, who just had an episode of Adventuring Party on Dimension 20's Dropout, where she said it's important to know what ideas are novels and what ideas are campaigns, and so succinct, so beautiful, you beautiful soul. Yeah, 100%. Some ideas you have are novels, and some ideas are loose enough to be a setting to play with your friends. And I don't think season 2 is more of a novel, right? Anthony is so much more excited about the Doodler lore and what he did with the kids as NPCs, and not as much about Lincoln and Scary and Normal and Taylor. I don't think they get the bulk of Anthony's attention, and I think that results in a not as good story, because D&D, the plot is secondary. What, as a DM, it's more, I'm trying to, because I know this sentence and I'm lost on it, but what happens, the literal what happens is secondary to how your players react to it. That's the real meat on these bones. That's the candy. That's the good bits. And so I think a lot of it is that. I also, and that's a lot of subjective things, I will say, one thing I will point to, and I'll just be like, no, that is just bad DMing, is there was this interaction where, the goddamn Papa John's trilogy, which is so self-evidently bad, I don't even feel a need to explain why it doesn't work for me. But shout out to Talking Sons, the Dungeons and Daddies Talkback fan podcast, where when they got to those episodes, they spent 5 minutes on it being like, it's bad, we don't want to talk about it. It's just really goddamn bad. But Freddie was like, can I roll with like 3 skills that he's trained in because he's a ranger? And Freddie constantly disappoints me as a player because, okay, I know I made the joke in this video that the daddies just don't know how to play D&D, and I stand by that. They don't. Lest you all forget, it was 19 episodes in before Freddie Wong playing a 5e bard gave anyone bardic inspiration. Bro, you're here for buffs. That's what bards do. I was upset for so long, and he's just... I wanted to pull my hair out when he was like, I have 0 animal handling. I'm like, you're a ranger! Come on, man! But anyways, Freddie was asking, like, for 3 different ability checks, and Anthony said no each time. That's not bad DMing, because some of DMing is being a hard ass. But then at the end of it, Anthony goes, it's not my fault you picked a shitty character, and that's on you, brother. As a DM, it's... So, Brendan Lee Mulligan, when he made Fantasy High, there wasn't a mystery to it until Brian Murphy came and he said, I want to play a boy detective. That's the character I want. And the second someone goes, I want a boy detective, you as the DM need to make a mystery because that's the thing they want. That is the experience they want to have. And if you don't fulfill that, well, your friend's going to be bored. And you don't DM for yourself, you literally DM for the party. And so with Freddy's character, Taylor was so clearly designed for urban exploration. He's a weeb kid with the backpack with everything in it. He's supposed to be exploring dilapidated buildings, right? And that never happens. None of his skill, of course he can't succeed. He hasn't been put in any situations where he can. And I'm going to talk a little bit about fights, but I think when you as a DM are creating encounters, ignore challenge rating always and forever. Challenge rating is functionally useless past like level 2, honestly. But I'm not going to spend this entire thing ranting about fights. But one of the best things you can do for fights is A, provide your player characters opportunities to shine. If you have a ranger, for example, throw in some rough terrain. One of your PCs will feel really cool when they can just dart through it. And then also recognize, look at their sheets and go, okay, what are they weak at? What can I punish? Give them opportunities to shine and take advantage of their weaknesses. It just makes for engaging combat, right? That same approach again for storytelling. Taylor Swift, Scary Marlowe, Normal Oak, a fucking mascot kid, and Lincoln Lee Wilson, a soccer kid. These characters were all clearly designed to be like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, urban fantasy, which I was significantly more excited for the whole season, those first few episodes, when I thought it was just going to be weird, spooky teen adventures in a high school, and then they go into the Forgotten Realms. I'm like, I know that's the point. That's like the cell is it's 4 dads from our world flung into the Forgotten Realms. But 2 seasons in and you guys don't know how to play the game, it's a little old, and I don't think any of the players knew they were going back to the Forgotten Realms, because at the very least it didn't feel like any of these characters were designed to go back for the Forgotten Realms, and I would say that that's bad. And furthermore, I don't think that the daddies need to play D&D. They're not good at it. Because there's a wide world of tabletop RPGs, and I'm very guilty of using D&D as just a catch-all term for tabletop RPGs in general, but there's systems that are more suited to their play style, and if the fan base already knows that they aren't good at D&D and they don't really play D&D, you don't need to be beholden to it. If Anthony wants a body horror thing, which I don't think works for the stylings of a bunch of improv comedians, hey man, there's a whole Call of Cthulhu system that you could play. You did play Mountains of Deadness. It was pretty good. Monster of the Week is very tailor-suited to their more improvisational sensibilities. I don't know how you turn Fiasco into a campaign you'd play, but the way that conflict resolution is a democratic process where we all collectively vote on what happens, I just think there are systems they could play that aren't D&D that would help the story that they are trying to make. That's my hot take on that. And there are many instances in season 2 where I would go, I feel like Anthony's being a bad DM, and I feel like I've ragged on Anthony a bit. So I will say I think latest episode at time of recording, but the one where they go into the Black Parade and Scary beats the conflict by giving emo poetry. That's perfect. That is 100% understanding your PC strengths, playing to them, giving them a moment to feel cool, and also really diving into the ethos of this character. Mwah, chef's kiss, bravo. But moments like that in season 2 are so few and far between. And no, I will never get over spending 3 episodes at a goddamn Papa John's. It was the dirt worst. And this is a very personal one, but they opened an episode recap with a rap parody, and I'm sorry, a bunch of fucking white nerds can't rap. The Rocks Rock EP was shit. It was fucking hot garbage. Get the fuck away from me, anyone who thought it was good. But then I was like, I'm absolutely, if they ever open another episode with a rap parody, I'm out. And then I opened one and it was fucking Lose Yourself. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I refuse. This is too. I can't do it. I cannot, in good consciousness, support this anymore. And yeah, and because I can feel the comment coming. Yes, I know that Anthony Birch and Freddie Long are POC. I do know that. I just want to throw that out, just in case. And yeah, I stand by this point I made. Go watch their video, man. Canonically Everywhere is OP is really good. That's why I made this video. Spending 20 minutes talking about it. So yeah, I don't know what else I have to say. That's most of what I wanted to say about season 2. I hope you had a good time listening to this commentary track. Hope I taught you a few things about the process. I don't know. Are these things you guys like? Because I like doing them. If there's like specifics you'd think would be more interesting to me talking about, maybe let me know there. Yeah, I guess that's it. I thought I would have another goodbye, but I was gonna complain about how much I hate Lincoln Lee Wilson, and I do. I hate Lincoln Lee Wilson so goddamn much. Just you picked the worst voice. Matt, you picked the worst voice. That is a voice that only a DM can do when playing an NPC that isn't the main character, because doing a voice like this is just terrible, and that's not Lincoln's voice, but just an example of a voice. And most of what it is every time Lincoln talks with the horrible voice Matt has picked, and it'll be things like, I think we should call the cops. I'm like, Lincoln is in his coon era, and I hate him for it. I hate his energy. Season 2 is just not as good as Season 1 yet. Everyone go watch Dimension 20. They've been consistently good. That feels mean. Why did I put two kings against each other? It's because Dimension 20 is the better one. All I'm going to say is there's a reason Lou Wilson and Brendan Lee Mulligan got to go to Critical Role and none of the daddies have. Bye.